Trump says the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool is being drained for repairs, but will be back in service soon. The more than $14 million renovation project was completed last month, but peeling paint and algae were spotted within weeks. In a post on Truth Social, Trump once again blamed vandals, claiming the floor was slashed.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Trump found himself in yet another feud of enormous national importance, right? The reflecting pool. Yes, he's still up in arms over this damn pool to the point that he's now building a wall. Well, a fence around the pool anyway. Also, while assigning FBI officers to investigate the rampant vandalism he claimed has sabotaged his slimy reflecting pool.
Well, there's one person in particular who's going to look really stupid now that the reflecting pool has been drained down at the National Mall. There are no signs of any slashes or a 350-foot gash down the middle of the reflecting pool, as Donald Trump has been lying about. There are signs of a shoddy paint job that was done down here. You can see some of the splotchy paint marks up and down the bottom of this reflecting pool, but nothing like he has been talking about over the last several weeks. If anything, you see what looks like a very long drainage trench that runs down the middle of the reflecting pool. But again, no major signs of any kind of vandalism approaching anything that Donald Trump has been talking about. He owes a lot of people an apology, especially those who have been arrested in all of this. The person who is responsible for the bad work down here is Donald Trump.
That's right. The president's protracted Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool saga may not be ending anytime soon. The Independent reported yesterday that the public's view of the monument may remain obstructed by fencing that currently surrounds the pool's perimeter for quite some time. Meaning, after images went viral of tire tracks through the middle of the pool with little to no evidence of this alleged massive gash that merits FBI attention, the White House want to hide the pool from public view.
They just drained the reflecting pool and that America blue liner is now completely gray. That means the liner that Trump bragged would last a century lasted at most about a month and a half. That's what $16 million got us. And that's on top of all the issues with the algae blooms and the liner peeling off the bottom of the pool. Trump has blamed vandals for all these issues and went as far as to say they made a 350-foot gash in the liner. But now that the pool is drained, no one can spot the gash. However, photos of the drained pool appear to show tire marks on the pool floor, and people online were quick to point out that Trump took a very public joyride in his motorcade across the pool during renovations. So was the vandal Trump? The White House says the pool is being drained because of the debris that fell in during the 4th of July fireworks show, and they're using the same pool contractor from the original no-bid contract because they did such a fantastic job. They have yet to reveal how much these new renovations will cost or what will be done to prevent further shoddy work so that American taxpayers can stop sinking their money into Trump's vanity project.
Trump's renovations to the reflecting pool, including installing an American flag blue lining, have come under intense scrutiny after it required repeated drainings and refillings. Further, at least according to the president, progress has been halted by left-wing vandals, right? And as a means to fend off those alleged saboteurs, fencing now surrounds the pool. Workers have also added some mesh screens to the barrier. And if you remember back in June, chain link fencing was installed by the Department of Interior, meaning more money and resources are being spent during a time of increased economic anxiety and affordability issues, something the president claims Democrats just made up, all to spare the president's blushes.
And welcome back to the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, which right now is neither reflecting nor really a pool. It's been drained again as Trump tries to make up for the damage that was caused in the first restoration. First of all, Trump has alleged there was some vandals who put a 300-yard gash in the reflecting pool. 300 yards is the same length as 3 football fields. I see no stinking gash. I see no visible signs of vandalism here whatsoever. And though Trump has promised this to be a U.S. flag blue or cobalt or royal blue or swimming pool blue, it's just an empty shell and a metaphor for Trump's vanity projects, which have been falling apart through clumsiness or speed or sole source contracts or just through bad luck. Charles Birnbaum is a historic preservationist who initially sued trying to stop this project, predicting prophetically months ago that Trump could damage stuff if he tried doing the pool the way it was designed to be done through Trump's configuration. Birnbaum was correct. Here's what he told me about what could be the next phase of this repair.
They're going to do what they want. And I know I keep looking out of my side view mirror, but I think the best possible example is the arch. I mean, the arch is now approaching final approvals at NCPC, And it pretty much looks the way it did when the process started. And in fact, at the arch, it actually looks like something we've seen before. It was not a competition for a new memorial design, as historically we always see in Washington. And then there's a process, and that memorial changes. But I think what we're seeing here is Rodney's Arch. I mean, it's the same arch back once again. And there it is. And it looks exactly as where we started. It's full height. Its current location is unchanged. And there has been no attempt to avoid, minimize, and mitigate adverse effects. So in response to your first question, I think that's an example of where the administration is very set on what they want. They know best in their opinion, and we're not really going to care if 100,000 people write letters and say, we don't think this should be happening.
And honestly, it makes complete sense, right? Because if there is one thing that Trump always loved, it is reflection, not self-reflection. Obviously, that would be ridiculous. I mean, literal reflection. His entire political philosophy is basically, if I can see myself in it, it's presidential. And that is what is so revealing here, right? Because this is not really about the reflecting pool and the algae that's grown or whatever. It's about the fact that Trump, once again, seems so desperate to create a spectacle out of something fundamentally trivial, to project strength and control and relevance, which, to be fair, is just a classic move for the president. Because when things are going badly, as they are, especially regarding the economy and the ongoing Iran conflict that even his once trusted allies at Fox can't seem to spin, he doesn't solve the problem. He just produces a shinier distraction.
Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change election results on these terrible machines. Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained reporting of a specific plot to do a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela. And that's exactly what happened, conspiring to digitally rig their own country's elections in 2020, and that's what they did. This reporting included precise details about methods to regime develop to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could not be detected even with an audit, no matter how deep they went. This intelligence underscores why we must take urgent action to ensure that our own system can never, ever be hacked or compromised like it was in the past.
He is less a politician than a man constantly jangling keys in front of the electorate. But it's not working because, if anything, it's just drawing more attention to said keys and the complete mess that is this reflecting pool.
Turns out on the reflecting pool that this company, which is called Green Water, you can't really make that up, they also had a no-bid contract out in San Diego to try to address the pollution in the Tijuana River Valley. That didn't work very well, but a multi-million-dollar no-bid contract. And then when the rains came, it washed up all their equipment into the Tijuana River. So, their reward for their ineptitude was to get another no-bid contract for the reflecting pool and for Trump to lie about supposed vandalism, saying there was a 300-yard cut in the reflecting pool. Anyway, it's insane. So the whole thing is, I think, reflective of Donald Trump's business career, where he was able to take care of his buddies, and ultimately he stiffed a lot of contractors as well. And I think he sees this presidency, particularly now that he's a lame duck and doesn't have to face the voters ever again, he sees it as an extension of his business career where he could basically do what he wanted. But we know it didn't work out so well in his business career. Somehow he managed to bankrupt casinos. And, if left to his own worst impulses, he's going to do tremendous harm to our country. So we've got to stand up and speak out, just as, Trump thinks he can get away with anything and nobody will pay attention. They want to desensitize us to the whole thing. They want us to all be numb to it so that it becomes the new normal. J.D. Vance wants for corruption to be so normalized that, the equivalent of Watergate wouldn't be a 12-hour news story. We've all got to collectively stand up, Scott, and say, hell no, not in the United States of America. Too many people have fought for too many years over too many wars standing up for this country. And we're not just going to roll over and play dead because we've got a mob boss running the show.
In fact, the reflecting poll just becomes indicative of this entire administration. It's the kind of fixation that tends to happen when a politician is losing command of the bigger story. When you're winning politically, right, you talk about your victories and how much you're improving life for the American people. When you're losing politically, you start inventing symbolic battles so that you can look like you're still winning at something. It's a very Trumpian pattern.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.